going to my recent New York trip, one of the cups I bought from an artist is this one that has roots and branches in a way that reminds me of the kinds of branches and roots and twigs that I love surrounding myself with. And let me show you also something in my backyard. This is Witness Garden, where I have things growing. And here is a twig, a branch that I cut from that tree. I have other plans of adding more branches and to potentially create a wire sculpture and paint those branches along with my crochet. When I was in New York, I went to go see El Último Sueño, the exhibit, the Frida and Diego exhibit based on the opera El Último Sueño, The Ultimate Dream, The Last Dream, and was blown away when I walked into the exhibit. I'm going to show you some photos of what I saw. As I was looking at this exhibit, I couldn't help but realize that the day before going to that exhibit, I had gone to the famous store where they sell, oh gosh, I'm going to forget the name, Printed Matter. That's where I went, and discovered a body of work by this artist named Roser Apel. I think I'm saying her name right. And I bought 3 of her books. One of them is called Branching. I mean, branching with luggage. The kind of imagery that makes my heart sing, as I have explained. Also shadow poems, which is illegible poetry. So those are some of the things that were just popping. The Frida Kahlo exhibit per that amazing tree of branches and roots, preceded by my just being blown away by discovering the work of Apel. And also, while I was at MoMA, MoMA is where we saw the Frida and Diego exhibit, there was also a piece of art that is quite famous of where Frida painted a half woman, half deer, and that deer, that half woman, half deer creature with many arrows impaled in her. And it reminded me of a painting that I had done, and I guess I had made the painting some years ago, and I'm pretty sure I had been influenced by that painting, unbeknownst to me. And it is of a half woman and a half animal with a Korean flag. I want to show it to you now, and when I show it to you now, you'll see that I've done an overpainting onto it. So here's the painting, and I'm sure that I was influenced by the Frida painting. Here is, I suppose it's me, a Korean woman with part of her being an animal, and here's the Korean flag. And most recently, just weeks ago, I decided to paint on top of it the word Ka Ji Ma. Kajima. Don't go, don't leave. And the reason why I painted Don't Go, Don't Leave, Kajima in Korean on top of that painting I had made is because I have recently been rereading excerpts of this magnificent book, Minor Feelings by Cathy Park Hong, and this passage about the nature of the Korean people, which is that we have always been escaping, leaving, departing. Here is a passage from the book. Their parents first went to Manchuria to escape the Japanese occupation, then to Seoul to escape the Soviet invasion, then to Busan to flee the North Koreans, and finally to the United States to escape the South Korean dictatorship. Koreans are a departing people, and I when I wrote or painted Kajima on top of that painting that I had made, I guess I was imploring my culture, imploring myself to stop leaving so much. And it made me think about the way I was raised and the way my family has been, and I would argue my entire culture has been, is that as soon as you arrive somewhere with Koreans, at least this has been my experience, the first thing that is said by somebody, an uncle or an aunt, is, okay, all right, let's go, 가자, 가자, 빨리 가자. Like, let's hurry up and leave because we have things to do, right? You have things to do. You have to go work and make money. You have to go study and get straight A's. That is the spirit and the energy that I remember growing up with, which is always not, the message wasn't, hey, stick around, stay. It was always, 빨리 가자, let's go, let's leave. And this has all contributed to my raised awareness as of late about my experience as an immigrant, my unique experience of when I left my homeland of South Korea, of Seoul. It was a severance, it was a splicing without connective tissue, without the roots. I felt more that my roots were spliced. That is what I have been pondering about, what happens when your roots are not carefully uprooted and replanted in connective tissue, fortified, that it does something to you. And it is some insight that I have gained recently. I'm not bringing all of this up to bemoan my past, simply that I'm connecting the dots to understand the why of it all and how I have become who I am, and just being more aware. Now, the following day, we ended up going to MoMA PS1, which is an extension of MoMA in Queens. Amazing art gallery where they're showing, exhibiting artists of today, of right now, the alive ones. And they are edgy and gritty. The Red Canary project really blew me away, but I'm not going to talk about that today. I am going to talk about the fact that I entered a space and was blown away by what was on the walls, which is branches painted. Let me show you. I showed this painting yesterday. I took it to the assisted living where my father and my mother are, and I tried to explain all that I've explained to him. And his contribution, he thought it was interesting. His contribution was he wondered whether Gajima translates to what I'm trying to express, but he couldn't come up with a better saying that expresses what I want to express. And today I'm wondering, maybe it's Donajima. And that's where I stop. Do not depart. Donajima might be a better connotation. I will be continuing to think about whether there's a phrase that better suits what I'm going through. I guess I will conclude this video, my first YouTube video, with a book that I picked up from Strand Bookstore in New York that kind of put a bow on everything. And it says, truth be told, anytime I begin to write anything of these days, my whole life flashes before my eyes. I ask myself, do I want to break something? Or do I want to mend something? Or simply try to carve out a small place to breathe? I want and have always wanted only to make something true. And what is true these days? And how does one know? The truth feels slippery and mysterious. even the words, the truth, feel like something of a marketing gimmick, a slogan that's selling some impossible outcome. I think that when we reflect on how we were raised, what we went through, sometimes when we think about that and get fixated on aspects of that, like not being uprooted properly, I don't know, you go through a phase of wanting to break something. And then when everything kind of comes together with great understanding, like I'm having, it's a desire to mend something or to carve out a small place to breathe.